Hey guys, so today we are talking about friction. Now, friction is a term that we use in product design. And really, what it is anything which makes the process of going from A to B harder for the customer. And the reason why this is so important is because the easier something is, the more likely we as humans are to do it. Naturally, we are lazy, and in many ways, this is a very good thing. And I think probably the best way for us to start off by talking about this is really understanding the impact of what this has on a business. So I think for personal trainers, one of the main ways that we see this is through your primary acquisition channel, which for a lot of coaches is through Instagram. And Instagram, someone inquires, and I should preempt. I know this because I went undercover as a client to about 200 separate personal trainers selling coaching online. I fed all that data back through ChatGPT and Claude, and it was very revealing. And what we found is that coaches had many of the steps in the wrong order. So that, for example, they would ask clients to do items that were high in admin upfront. So that would include things such as filling out a form. Now, from your perspective, you may think, well, I need that form because it helps me qualify the lead, so on and so forth. But from the client's perspective, they may be genuinely interested in working with you. And for them, they don't know if the form is going to take 10 seconds or 10 minutes. And you've got to, I think so often we have to think about things from other people's perspective, because we don't know if they're just rushing in between the office and whether or not they've got 10 minutes, or maybe they've got to go pick up their kids. So you've got to order things in the right order. Basically start off with the easy stuff up top and make it slightly, not harder, but do the tasks which require a little bit more time commitment from them towards the bottom. And really what we end up here with is a mindset change amongst personal trainers. Moving away from focusing just on, I've got to get as many leads as possible, because the more leads I get, then the more conversion I get. Which, yes, in theory is true, but it doesn't scale, and it certainly doesn't create that repeat mechanism that is required to make personal training a lifelong career. What you need to do is you need to focus on getting that funnel, getting that process, that onboarding process, as tight as possible. So this is the quality and then quantity. It's not quality and quantity doesn't matter, but you just have to create that strong foundation. So the way I like to think about it is, you can build two houses, and one's on strong foundations, the other one is on weak foundations. Now the one with strong foundations, you can keep building a bigger and bigger and bigger house. But the one on weak foundations, you are only going to be able to build a house so big before you have to start again and again and again, unfortunately. And friction is one of the primary mechanisms for this. If you are losing clients unnecessarily, then we can fix that for you. And just before we do, I want to give you a second example to really get into your heads about how important this is. Now, if you had two races, you've got the 100-meter race and the 100-meter hurdles, who gets there faster? Which race is typically quicker? And it's the one without the hurdles. And by removing those hurdles, you are increasing the chances of someone going from, hey, I'm really interested in working with you, to, hey, here's some money so we can actually make this happen. How many times have you bought something where you regretted it? Now, I'm not saying someone is going to regret buying your personal training. That's not the point. But I bet that within the process of you buying it, it was very fast. Because there wasn't that time to mull over it, to think about it, to gain perspective, to allow your doubt and your things to take hold of you. You had to, you just sort of went, oh, this is really exciting, let's do it. Now imagine if you could repeat that same thing, but someone's buying your service, and your service is a quality product, which they're not going to regret, they're going to love it. Then we can really sort of start to understand just how important it is for friction to be removed, to run the 100-meter race, not the 100-meter hurdles. So here are 3 quick takeaways for you to be able to start to think about how you can reduce friction and increase your sales conversion. So firstly, I mentioned this earlier, begin by taking all the different aspects of your onboarding process and simply just reorder them in whatever order you feel is going to be the least annoying to do. Imagine if someone sat you down and said, hey, can you do this form? And you think, well, okay, is that a 4 out of 5 annoyance or a 1 out of 5 annoyance? And just go like that. And then instantly you'll end up just removing that friction by effectively just you want to make the annoying tasks the things to do when the person is most committed towards working with you. So that's number one. Secondly, I would suggest you have your pricing upfront, or at least start to talk about it within the first couple of messages when they inquire. Now, the reason for this is because if the pricing conversation hasn't happened until you get to an intro call, it destroys the intro call. Everything is leading up to this moment of, oh, will they reject me? And they're thinking exactly the same thing. So what you end up happening is the ability to build rapport is completely mitigated. And it's such a shame because that's the moment where you should be really getting to know each other. So have the pricing up front, because you'll instantly qualify people much faster, and you'll be able to have much more successful intro calls as well. And finally, I would suggest having one offer and have it right next to all your social proof. So for many coaches, again, let's just use the example of online coaches. They'll have maybe their tagged stories of clients from their past and stuff like that. And it's just not that obvious to find, And again, we have to think, you have to imagine that your customer is like a child. You've got to make it so that everything is as obvious and in your face as possible. So, and social proof, client testimonials, these are the highest performing conversion metrics available to coaches. So if you don't have those, go out and get some. Maybe even work with a bunch of clients for free, get some high quality photos of them, get a nice little quote from them, a video from them, whatever it may be. But then frame that alongside your offer and only have one offer, because humans don't like choice. We think we do, but actually we don't. So imagine you go to a restaurant and there's a million different things on the menu. You've got no idea what to look at. You have no idea what to order. Versus having a really nice curated menu and exactly, you can relax into it and you trust the process. So, and of course, as a coach, it makes your quality of coaching better, because let's say, for example, you just focus on online monthly coaching. All of a sudden, you as a coach can iterate and improve your processes on how you execute that. So you can, for example, maybe have better software for running the weekly check-ins. You can have a better way for clients to be able to track their workouts. But because all of a sudden, if you split yourself between doing in-person stuff, online stuff, something else as well, it just affects your ability to be able to perform. Much like in a kitchen, using the menu example, the chefs are going to be way better at cooking just a few options because they've had lots of practice at it, versus cooking a million different things. So fewer options means a much more relaxed and less cognitive load for the client, framed with your social proof for maximum conversion, and it also means that you can increase the quality of your output as well. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much. I hope you found this useful. Friction is one of my absolute favorite things. Always the one. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.